Good day and welcome, I'm Ryzen, and today I'm gonna show you how does Stellaris perform against my Ryzen 1600. So, the Ryzen 1600 is in its basic clock. I have not overclocked it at all, and I have 16 gigs of RAM, and it's running on a 1060 GTX with 6 GB of VRAM. So on the top left you can see the reads. On the top you can see the GPU, which is temperature, usage, and as well as, what is it, fan speed. And right below you can see the CPU usage of each core, physical and virtual cores. And the second from the bottom you have the overall CPU usage, and at the bottom we have the frames per second counter. Now, this game is from 2017 if I recall correctly, maybe 16, I'm not sure, there was some kind of change around, maybe 16 it is, but it still uses the Clauswitz engine, which was used for Europa Universalis IV, and I really hope that it's gonna perform better than Europa Universalis, because it sucked, but it doesn't, and let me show you right now. So once we get around this 2200, you can see that the FPS is around 60, it's stable, it goes fairly quickly. There is no issue right now, but also I'm going only for observe mode, and with the huge area. Now let's jump to the later stages. So now we have jumped to 2225, more or less, and as you can see there is some kind of performance difference. It goes just a little slower, however there are definitely occasional lags here and there. This is usually when you're zooming in or zooming out, and occasionally during loadings, because the engine still has the issue that when you are saving game, the whole thing just stops, and you can see it even at the CPU usage, that it just stops, literally stops. However, right now it's still okay, it looks like it should, and if the game ran like this even later on, that would be good. But let's jump to 2250s. Now I have to right away apologize that there's no sound, and I have changed the Riva tuners so it's more easily visible. Now at 2250s it starts to slow down significantly. It goes from 60 FPS to 45 FPS. It doesn't matter where you are, it more or less stays around 40-45. The lag is more than occasional, and the zoom in and zoom out lag is fairly noticeable. Of course, the game is still playable, it doesn't go below 30, but the change from 60 FPS to 30 within 50 years is extremely significant. And look at the usage, CPU usage is just terrible right now. But let's jump even forward. So right now we are in the 2275-ish years, and 75 years after the start of the game becomes a pain. It goes occasionally below 30, so I also noticed some drops to 18, 25. It usually stays around 35, but just look at the CPU usage. It's still more or less the same. There is really not much of a difference. What is the most surprising thing is that it uses the 7th core, which is the virtual core in the end. On a 6-core processor, well, why? Why doesn't it use the first cores as it is common with games? No. It keeps everything more or less down, and then uses the highest, the 7th one, as for some unknown reason up to 100 sometimes. It's the same issue with Europa Universalis. So, did it lose? Yeah, I think that Ryzen 1600 actually lost to this game, or maybe the other way around, I'm not sure, but it has not improved. Well, but it's still a solid game. But just don't think that if you have a strong processor, it's gonna be faster. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Now, thanks for watching and see you next time.